So basically, that's what that means. Be still and know that I am God. Essentially, more or less means have faith. Know that the divine is acting for your highest purpose, for your greatest good. Know that you are being guided and that sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing at all. And that's kind of what I'm starting to feel like is a huge lesson that I'm coming to terms with is having faith. See, because when I am still, and I listen, the universe, God, the divine, nature, leads me, guides me. See? If you think about the way that trees exist, it's kind of like that. It's like a tree, you know, can't move, obviously, but only, when the natural elements of life and earth are brought upon it. So sometimes, if you just quiet your mind and listen, you can hear more clearly and loudly what your heart and your feelings and your intuition is trying to tell you. So if you don't know what to do, doing nothing is still doing something, but if you wait long enough, if you're patient enough, you'll hear what's being said. One of my favorite things to do, believe it or not, is allowing myself to feel how I feel, honestly, and just like seeing where that takes me, you know? That's something you can do if you're working through emotions that are challenging for you, or, you know, shit that's painful. It's like when that stuff comes up, looking at that as an opportunity rather than something that's scary. 555 on the clock. Change, challenge. Allowing yourself to just let the feelings take you where they will. You know, like 5 minutes ago, I was feeling sad. And you know what? I wanted to do a tarot reading, but I was like, you know what? Nah. I feel sad. This is juicy. Let me sit with this. So I did, and guess what happened? It's gone. It moved on. Couldn't even tell you where it was coming from or why. But sometimes there is no why, and that's okay. Sometimes we don't know. And the objective is not to force it or force yourself to know. The objective is to just be, you know, be still, like I said, and know that I am God. That saying, that verse basically is what I'm talking about, is be still and have faith. You know, people read so deeply into that shit. Really, you can cater that to whatever you believe in. Be still and know that not everything is in your control. In fact, actually, most things aren't. So sometimes doing nothing is exactly what's needed. Like I said, be still and know that I am God. That's what that means. Be still and have faith. Be still and know that even in the midst of chaos or total loss of control, you will find your way. How do I know that? I've been alive long enough to know. And that's half the battle. That's what I tell a lot of my younger clients, because that's a big part of the challenge of being young, is you don't know what you don't know yet, you know? And so a lot of the fear is not knowing what you don't know, and therefore not knowing how to handle it. And so I reassure my younger clients a lot, like, hey, you know, even like I have a client who's like about to be, no, she's 13 now. She's 13. And she was talking about like, man, yeah, like I just have this feeling of like, you know I'm getting older, and it's like this weird feeling of like I want to grow up, but I don't want to grow up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember that exact feeling, especially as a teenage girl. That shit is weird and scary and awkward, but also exciting and exhilarating. And there's just so much you don't know. But man, I tell you, if somebody told me at 13 the path that I had ahead of me for the next 15 years, well, let's just say I'm grateful I didn't know. Because I think the only way sometimes to get through life's challenges and the darkest times is to take it one step at a time. And I think if we knew everything, if you would have told me at 13 what I had ahead of me, oof, I would have been like, can I opt out or nah? No? So, like I said, life can be a painful yet beautiful experience of well, it requires a lot of faith and knowing that there must be a greater purpose for this. And the only way out is through. Like how the trees just let the breeze move through them like it's nothing. It's just like, see that? You can learn a lot from nature just by seeing how it handles shit. The more flexible you can be, the more adaptable you can be, the more faith that you can have that things are always changing, nothing is permanent. And as you move through life, life moves through you, and eventually, like what you just heard, it's a breeze. It's easy. It's you just kind of keep moving. You know, I had a client say this to me the other day. He was like, it's like I feel like a lot of my life has been spent like looking for greener pastures. That was exactly what he said. And he said, and every time I look for greener pastures, it seems like there's something else, there's some other hurdle, to climb over. And, you know, so is life, it's like that's life. And you eventually come to a place of acceptance and you find peace in knowing that nothing is permanent and everything is constantly changing, that actually, believe it or not, even though when you're first healing that might seem scary, over time, that's the comfort. Because if everything is constantly changing and nothing is ever permanent, then that means that every second, every moment is an opportunity to be a better version of yourself, to handle what life throws at you even better each time. Like, imagine all the shit that these trees have had to, like all of the types of weather and like the harsh weather, the cold, the rain, the sleet, the hail, snow. And these motherfuckers are still here. Honestly, I have always been disheartened by humans and the human experience because, well, I never used to understand why, but now I understand. It's because I want so much better for people, and 9 times out of 10, I want better for themselves than they want. I want better for them than they want for themselves. That's one of the things you have to finding peace despite knowing that there are always going to be people or things in your life that are out of your control. Like, there's just going to be some people that they don't want to heal, they don't want to change. And despite that, you can still find a way to find peace, or, you know, come up with a way to have peace. But it's painful, and it can be a very lonely experience as a light worker because you feel things in other people that they have yet to come to terms with themselves. And so a lot of times as a light worker, I have found myself bringing things up to people, bringing up wounds or pain that I feel or sense in other people that they are not aware of themselves. And so it becomes this awkward thing of like, oh, okay, you're not there yet. And that's okay, but it's also painful because we feel everything. So we feel where you're at, and we feel where you could be or where your potential lies. And so sometimes it's painful to know that there are some people that you want more for that don't want more for themselves. What the fuck? This mosquito keeps trying to flirt with me, and I'm like, bitch, get out of my ear. God, not interested. It's like, zzz, go. You know, and that's kind of, it's kind of like how some humans are, you know. They don't know what the fuck to do So they look to you. All right, you know what? Oh my gosh. I killed him. I killed the mosquito. Well, I mean, come on. No is no. No means no. Clearly, I'm not interested. But I gotta smash that shit on my face. Either way, like, I don't know. All I have to say is humans, they are complex and disappointing at times, but I'm just starting to realize that maybe that's just life. Like I told my client, you know, he's 33, and I'm like, that is life. Like, yeah, you look for something, you look for greener pastures, but I mean, let's be real. You're in the 3D world. You're on Earth. If you're looking for greener pastures with human beings, you might want to look again, because humans will always disappoint. How can we not? We're imperfect. So, me, what helped me with that was learning to trust myself in certain ways, or rely upon myself in the ways that I needed other people to be there for me. What I wanted from other people, I became myself. What I needed from other people, I learned to give to myself. Because I think one of the biggest mistakes we make as humans is thinking that our incompleteness has anything to do with anybody else. Thinking that our incompleteness is someone else's responsibility. And the reality of it is, it was your parents' responsibility, but again, humans are imperfect. So that's what I told my client. I said, you know, I came to a point in my life where, and I don't know when this happened, but I started looking at everything as an adventure, a challenge in a good way. Everything, even crazy shit, you know. Because life is not meant to be linear, lived in a linear fashion. By nature, life is complex, just like humans. Well, look at, I could die here, right? Or no. Kind of like life. Fuck it. But not really fuck it, but more so, I can get around it. I can handle it. Faith. Learning to take life as it comes. The only real thing in life is the present. Right now. The past is gone. Literally 2 minutes ago when I was talking, that's gone. I'm a different person. I'm not the same person. Because I said some shit that done blew my mind. So, but also, everything's always changing. Nothing is permanent. No emotion. Every moment. And I guess that's why the only thing that scares me is the dark. Because I'm a very logical person, and the whole saying, walk by faith and not by sight, well, that seems like a dumb fucking idea. But that's because my human self has not fully accepted that I can't control shit. And my ego won't let me let go due to fear. And that's a lot. Of the issue. That's a lot of the issue with us as humans, is that we think we have much more control than we do. And the greatest amount of peace that I have found has come from surrendering that control. And accepting that really, at the end of the day, the only person I really control is me. And even then, shit, those genes are strong. And even some things that I thought I had control of have made me their bitch. So, what do? You let them. You say, all right, bring it. And then you let life be what it will be, because the reality of it is you can't control it anyway, so why torture yourself trying to you know? I will say I'm very saddened and disappointed by, well, I guess that's out of my control too, huh? People will be what they want to be, and there's nothing I can do about it. People will listen to what they want to listen to, take in what they want to take in. And if they don't, well, I will also just say, ugh, every time I want to go there, I'm like, no, I can't control it. I can't control it. Humans suck and I can't control it. Humans want to feed their ego, not their spiritual abilities, or, I mean, not all humans, I'm just saying. Ego is a bitch. So, I guess I'll leave it at that, because that's how life is. And the only way that I have found to make peace with that is by accepting the shittiness in its entirety and then figuring out how I can make that shit better. And for you motherfuckers that don't want that shit, because it's clear a lot of y'all don't, because there's been a bajillion people in and out of this bitch, it disheartens me, it saddens me, but it's another complexity of life that I must accept. Because ain't shit I can do about it. So, peace.